If I may
Right.
ask a question real quick, how in the hell did we get here? How did we get
I think that the
to
important. I think the
to
important. Go ahead.
pointing
Sorry.
at women and men when I thought we actually had a pretty good conversation. Um, when we're trying to get to some of the roots of these issues in our community, how did we get to a fight between women and men? By the way, the boy in that video, soft as Charmin. You can't. I don't know how you can punch a girl straight in the face with a stiff jab, and she look at you and be like, "Keep lay. Let's keep doing this thing," which is
Oh,
what
look at
happened.
that
And he
contact.
way wrong. He was way like under going through Twitter and understanding the story. He was way out of pocket, and the dude's videotaping it, in my opinion, should have pulled him back. But
Right.
that being said, he's still soft. She took it like a G and kept coming.
But AP,
So
respectfully,
let me.
that may be true, but that's a part of the cultural problem that we have. The
I
cultural
don't
Absolutely.
problem
disagree.
that we have is that women think it's okay to run up on niggas. And so at some point, niggas is going to make it part of the culture that we start fighting back.
I
So
think
now
you're.
when you see young men fighting back, you want to be mad at them for fighting back when that's been a part of the culture for too long.
No, and I'm not
I'm not
disagreeing with you.
saying it's not about that specific case. I'm saying in general, you're hearing this more en masse. You're even hearing more mothers telling their sons, "Man, look, if she hit you, hit them back," because people are really tired of that one-way aggression. When you're a woman and you're in a situation, you feel like the victim. But once you have a son or a brother or a father or a cousin or a friend that you really care about, and you know exactly how women move, how they instigate stuff, and how they will try to really railroad and ruin a man's life behind this, then you start to see things clearly and talk about it more objectively.
I'm not disagreeing with
Well,
your point on that. I'm
yeah.
I'm really not,
Yeah.
because I actually agree with you 100%, and I don't think you'll actually have anybody else up here really truly
Yeah, we're not disagreeing.
disagree
Nobody, yeah, we all in
disagree
agreement.
with that point. And if I may try to bring it back full circle, or at least half circle, if we're going to talk about um, why some of these things happen, I would say, and it depends on how you want to spin it. You can spin it how you want to.
Mhm.
But single mother led homes, or absentee fathers, or fathers being kicked out, however you want to spin it, I think that's part of the root of that issue, because we as men, we're actually going to teach our daughters to stay in their place and understand their place. With that also being said, trying to drive it all the way back around, full circle back to a point that I made, and anybody can jump in. Um, when we get back to that nuclear family, then we can get back to what Marcus was talking about with the intergenerational families, and then we can actually start taking corrective course to fix the dysfunction that's truly dominant in our society. I don't give a damn what them other folks is doing. We got to fix us, and
So
I'll end it there.
What's the
so so
nuclear
so,
family?
so
I'm sorry.
real so real fast. This is the so I'm glad the argument happened, because what happens is people have different ways of thinking, right? Some people feel like it's okay to hit a woman. If she hits me, I should hit her back. And some people feel like Marky Mark said, I don't care what it is, and I go along with the saying, you won't hit a woman. And so that's it, even though that's just one scenario, that's the bump in the road that we hit in this community. I don't care if I sag. It ain't hurting you, I don't care if I'm out here, doing it for money. You know, people have their own way of thinking. Sexy Red doesn't know she's doing anything wrong, because that's just who she is. And maybe her mom was that way, her grandparents were that way. I don't know the history of her family lineage or whatever. But what I'm saying is that's the issue. Some people don't find that the things that we see are even wrong in the first place. But what I can say is, it seems to me that in the amount of people that we have doing things that are a little bit different than everybody else is greater in our community, in opposed to everybody else's community, right? Everybody has people in their community that just won't do right. We know that. But for whatever reason, it just seems to be magnified in ours, if that makes sense.
So Sexy Red grew up again in a single mother-led home.
But how many
Like,
people?
I mean, like,
Listen. But what I'm saying to you, listen to right here. So did my son. Now he's in an Ivy League college. It's more than just that, because you can have two ghetto parents together teaching their boys to beat up a girl. Like,
what's the likelihood, Chan? Like, what is the likelihood of a man and a woman being together raising kids? What is the likelihood of, and the stats actually play this out quite well, but what is the likelihood of the kid going astray? It is a huge gap.
This is a bad argument.
Listen.
No, it's like, to me, the key, one of the keys to righting the ship in the community is for mom and dad. If they live together, great. If they don't, they got to be able to co-parent. Like that. Those are keys that must happen in order to fix some of these problems. Right now, we got these single parent led homes, and it's bringing disastrous results. Would you ever, like, I don't know if there's any man on this panel that would ever say, hey, baby girl, why don't you go ahead and buck up to a man? We'll tell you to defend yourself if a man comes at you. We would never this is crazy to me.
That's not it.
But AP, what I'm saying
Explain,
to you is,
like, how is that not it?
Let me explain to you, because we get them all in our class, right? You don't hang around. You're not around kids and parents like we are. Okay.
Are you saying, are we going to do this again?
Let me finish telling you. I've been doing this.
You just told me I'm not around kids and parents like y'all.
Because
I have gone around about that before. I completely disagree with you.
Okay, so maybe you have, but what I'm saying to you is, sometimes prostitutes are married to pimps. Okay, that think alike. Okay, sometimes drug dealers are married to women who okay with drugs. You're acting like just because you're a man.
What the stats though? What does the stats say? That's like, you can't even argue the stats.
Yeah, I swear, let me have this. Let me have this for you.
You can't argue the stats. The stats play it out.
I can't argue at all if you don't allow me to talk.
Because the argument is a bad argument. Period.
Listen. So let me just say this. Ideally, if you have both parents in a household, the kid does do well. But there are situations, I'm not saying they're the vast majority, but there are situations when you two toxic parents. So you have two parents on drugs, guess what? Gonna happen. That doesn't work in that situation. And all I'm saying is, if the mentality has to be right. Because I would also argue that a person who has two parents who kind of a little thrown off, but you have a single mom and she's got her shit together and she makes sure he's involved. She has extracurricular activities. That kid, because of the environment that kid is in, may do better than this other kid. Now, again, I'm not saying men, obviously, men in the life, the father in the life, the mother in the life, the kid does do better. Please stop thinking I'm arguing that fact. I'm absolutely not arguing that fact. But what I'm saying to you is, we have got to change the mentality in this community. Whoever the parents are, the mentality has to change. Because I've seen men take up for daughters and I've seen women take up for sons. Okay. I saw it just the other day. This girl has been AWOL from my class since the second week in January. She knew to bring her dad in because her dad got like a little soft spot for his daughter, right? And she hustled that entire conference. And I'm like, you just let her hustle you, like, because she's got him wrapped around her finger. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just gotta be, we have to change the way we think. We have to do better.
Let me tell you what was
better situations, environments for our children.